em chỉ có thế thôi chị ạ.
À em có quen một người đàn ông một xưởng gỗ lớn phải không?
Dạ, em có quen chị ạ.
Em thích anh ấy à? Chị là người yêu cũ của anh Tuấn Anh.
Em không biết ạ. Em xin lỗi chị ạ.
Even though Tuan had previously shown an extremely firm attitude, clearly rejecting the idea of getting back together and decisively choosing to stay beside Tieu Hue to protect and care for her, his ex-girlfriend could not easily accept that painful reality. With her selfish personality and deeply rooted materialistic nature, she still blindly believed that she was the only woman truly suitable and worthy of standing beside him, after spending many days calculating and refusing to let a wealthy and prestigious young heir slip away from her grasp, she finally made a bold decision. She would personally go to Tieu Hue's new house on the hill and settle things face to face. The sudden and calculating appearance of the former lover on a quiet late afternoon completely shattered the peaceful atmosphere that had once surrounded Tieu Hue and Tuan, signaling the beginning of another storm waiting to test their relationship. When Tieu Hue saw the proud and elegant woman stepping into the simple home she had built together with Tuan, she could not hide her surprise. However, deep within her eyes there was no longer the fear or desire to run away that once existed. Before, this direct confrontation was not only a challenge for Tuan's love, but also an important turning point, forcing the fragile young woman to finally stand up and fight for the happiness and rightful place she truly deserved in her own life. After unexpectedly arriving at the small house on the hill, Tuan's ex-girlfriend showed absolutely no hesitation or restraint in front of Tieu Hue. On the contrary, she stepped inside with the arrogant and prideful attitude of a wealthy young lady who had spent her entire life surrounded by luxury and indulgence. Her eyes slowly swept across the yard and the simple wooden house before she curled her lips in disdain at the rustic and modest home Tuan had been pouring his heart into. Building, in her eyes, a wooden house hidden among the mountains was far beneath the status and prestige that someone from a wealthy family like Tuan should possess. When she finally stood face to face with Tieu Hue, the former lover openly revealed the true purpose of her visit. She loudly demanded that Tieu Hue should know her place and voluntarily leave Tuan immediately. Using an overbearing and commanding tone, she pressured Tieu Hue to step aside so that she could reclaim the position beside Tuan that she once held in the past. To further emphasize her selfish determination, she stared directly into Tieu Hue's eyes and arrogantly declared that this time she had returned to take back what originally belonged to her. She claimed that she would never again be weak or easily give up like before. Deep inside, she believed that with her beauty, status, and shared memories with Tuan, she could easily push a poor girl burdened with debt out of the life of a wealthy young heir. However, all of her calculations and arrogance unexpectedly collided with a wall far stronger than she had imagined, completely different from the image of a timid, frightened girl who would quietly endure humiliation and cry in silence like before. The Tieu Hue standing before her now had become much stronger and more resilient. Everything she had experienced together with Tuan, along with the acceptance and protection she had received from his mother, had given her an incredible source of inner strength. There was not the slightest sign of fear or hesitation in her expression as she calmly met the challenging gaze of the woman standing before her. With the confidence of someone protecting her own home and happiness, Tieu Hue directly and fearlessly responded to the shameless words thrown at her. She did not hesitate to expose the true nature of the selfish woman standing in front of her. In a sharp and unwavering voice, Tieu Hue pointed out that Tuan's ex-girlfriend had never truly loved him sincerely at all. Everything she desired and fought for now revolved only around his wealth, his success, and the prestigious identity he currently possessed as a powerful young heir. Tieu Hue reminded her that it was she herself who had cruelly abandoned Tuan the moment he chose a difficult and independent life in the mountains. and now that he had returned successfully to inherit his family's empire, she suddenly rushed back hoping to benefit from his success. Tieu Hue's sharp words, overflowing with confidence and undeniable truth, struck directly at the pride and arrogance of the spoiled and materialistic young woman. Realizing that she could no longer use her status or arrogant words to manipulate and force Tieu Hue out of Tuan's life as she had originally planned, Tuan's ex-girlfriend finally had no choice but to turn around and leave in humiliation and frustration. Her once prideful figure slowly disappeared along the narrow path leading down the hill, leaving behind only the quiet and peaceful atmosphere of the late afternoon once more. Standing alone in the yard beneath the golden sunset, Tieu Hue quietly let out a long breath, her chest rising and falling after the suffocating confrontation she had just endured. It was only at that moment, when she reflected on everything that had happened, that Tieu Hue truly realized how much she herself had changed compared to the past. A deep sense of pride and emotion slowly spread throughout the heart of the fragile young woman. Thinking back on her past, Tieu Hue could not help feeling emotional. Once upon a time, she had been a girl trapped in fear and insecurity, constantly running from the cruelty of fate and never daring to speak up for her own thoughts or defend her own beliefs. But now, she had completely transformed. She was no longer a helpless victim silently enduring injustice and oppression from others, standing before a calculating and confident romantic rival. Tieu Hue had finally found her own voice. She had become brave and strong enough to protect both her sincere love and the fortress of happiness she had built with her own hands. This incredible transformation had not appeared out of nowhere. Tieu Hue understood clearly that it was the terrifying hardships and painful experiences from her past that had forged her strong will and helped her grow more resilient with every passing day. She finally realized how valuable she truly was and how deep and genuine Tuan's love for her had always been. Because of that, she no longer accepted living beneath the weight of insecurity, fear, or the social prejudices tied to family, background and status. In addition to that, this was also the period when Tuan's business entered its busiest and most rapidly developing stage ever, as the person officially taking over the family business empire while also expanding the family's agricultural and plantation projects. Tuan now carried enormous responsibilities on his shoulders. During the daytime, he constantly traveled down to the town and nearby regions to meet business partners, negotiate contracts, and discuss work details with major merchants in order to expand their operations. Endless meetings, continuous field inspections, and the pressure of the competitive market drained nearly all of his time and energy. Standing in the position of a successful young heir, Tuan was naturally surrounded by countless social relationships, tempting invitations, and even the attention of opportunistic people similar to his former girlfriend. However, no matter how busy or stressful work became, and no matter how many temptations the glamorous outside world offered him, at the end of every day, Tuan always returned to Tieu Hue. To him, the warm light shining from the small wooden house on the windy hill was the only true destination where he could cast aside all exhaustion and pressure from the business world. Instead of choosing luxurious parties down in the town, he always hurriedly drove across rough mountain roads just to make it home in time for the simple dinner lovingly prepared by the woman he loved. This unwavering habit of Tuan not only reflected the responsibility of a dependable man, but also silently proved that no amount of wealth, status, or shadows from the past could ever replace Tieu Hue's place inside his heart. After returning home, instead of resting, Tuan rolled up his sleeves together with Tieu Hue and continued working side by side to finish the unfinished kitchen inside their new home. Beneath the warm yellow lights, the two silhouettes, one tall and strong, one small and gentle, worked together building wooden shelves, cleaning every corner, and arranging the simple cooking utensils around the room. To Tieu Hue, That small kitchen was not merely a place for preparing meals, it was a sacred space where she placed all of her deepest yet simplest dreams about building a complete and truly happy family. Not stopping at those simple everyday dreams, Tieu Hue also poured into that small kitchen a deep longing for true family connection. She hoped that every weekend, when business work could temporarily be set aside, the two of them would forget all worries and step into the kitchen together, cooking meals side by side while sharing the little stories of daily life like a real married couple. For a girl who had endured a miserable childhood, grown up surrounded by coldness and rejection from her own family, and spent years hiding in the darkness of debt and fear, a warm kitchen filled with the glow of fire and a dinner table where someone waited and cared for her was the most perfect definition of a complete and loving home she had long dreamed about. While Tieu Hue was quietly weaving beautiful memories for the future inside her heart, Tuan looked at her with eyes overflowing with admiration and unconditional affection. The steadfastness of his love had become the strongest source of support, protecting her from every storm life could bring. At that moment, Tuan no longer held any lingering feelings or attachment toward his former girlfriend. The selfish and materialistic memories connected to that woman had long been left behind. With the decisiveness and clarity of a mature man, he honestly told Tieu Hue that even if he accidentally met his ex again in town or through work in the future, she would only remain nothing more than a casual acquaintance from the past. His honesty, transparency, and unwavering attitude toward love completely shattered every remaining trace of doubt and insecurity lingering inside Tieu Hue's heart. It was precisely Tuan's determination and his willingness to protect the woman he loved from every outside influence that made Tieu Hue feel safer and more secure than ever before. Sitting beside the warm dinner table inside their newly completed kitchen while listening to every firm and sincere promise from him, tears slowly rolled down her cheeks once again. But this time they were not tears of sadness, insecurity, or humiliation. They were tears of complete happiness. For the very first time in her life, after enduring endless pain, betrayal, and suffering, Tieu Hue truly felt that she was genuinely the only one, the irreplaceable treasure living inside someone's heart. If you hope to see a beautiful ending come to this couple soon, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support them. And stay tuned for more emotional and dramatic stories in the upcoming episodes. Goodbye and see you again soon.
Công việc nhà nông tuy vất vả, đôi bàn tay bắt đầu có những vết chai sần và tà áo lấm lem bùn đất. Nhưng Tieu Hue chưa bao giờ cảm thấy hạnh phúc đến thế. Cô trân trọng từng giọt mồ hôi rơi xuống mảnh đất này, vì đó là mồ hôi của sự tự do, của một kiếp người đang được tái sinh từ đống tro tàn của sự áp bức. Sau khi gùi hàng đầy ắp những nông sản tươi ngon nhất, hai người lại cùng nhau gùi hàng xuống núi để kịp phiên chợ sớm. Đường rừng dốc, đứng và trơn trượt, nhưng mỗi khi Tieu Hue mệt mỏi, Tuấn Anh lại lặng lẽ dừng bước chờ đợi, chủ yếu đỡ lấy phần gùi gánh nặng hơn cho cô.